Everybody wants a G-Wagon. Rappers want one. Soccer moms want one. Some guy 3 weeks into his real estate license already has one leased, and he's already posted about it twice. Your dentist's wife has one. Your cousin who does crypto has one. It has become the single most universal way to tell a parking lot you've arrived without saying a word. And here's the part nobody brings up at the dealership. It gets worse gas mileage than a pickup truck. It depreciates like a smartphone the second you drive it off the lot. In some cities, it's one of the most stolen vehicles on the road, so owners are stacking trackers on top of trackers, and insurance companies see the VIN and just raise the number before you even finish the application, and none of that matters. Not even a little. Because the G-Wagon you're picturing right now, the boxy one, the one that's looked basically the same since your parents were young, is just the entry ticket. That's the cheap seats. There are 6 more levels stacked above it, wearing that exact same shape, built off that same silhouette, and the top one costs 10 times as much for a car that's actually slower. That entry ticket price is $153,900. Remember that number. Write it down if you have to. We are absolutely coming back to it. Level 1, the Valet Special, the G550. Calling this a starter. G-Wagon is funny because $154,000 is most people's entire life savings just to get in the door. Turbocharged 6-cylinder engine, 443 horsepower, 413 pound-feet of torque, 3 locking differentials, so it's technically capable of climbing an actual mountain range. It has real 4-wheel drive hardware underneath it, the kind that could ford a river or crawl over boulders if you actually took it somewhere with boulders, and it will never do that. Not once. This thing's biggest off-road adventure is going to be a gravel driveway in the Hamptons, or maybe a curb outside of Whole Foods that it takes a little too fast. It can tow over 7,000 pounds, which sounds impressive right up until you realize the only thing most owners are towing is a jet ski they use twice a summer. That's level 1. Luxury flagship money for a truck that mostly just needs to look expensive parked outside a restaurant while somebody else parks it for you. Level 2, the loud version, the AMG G63. Same body, same shape everybody already recognizes on sight, but Mercedes swaps in a handcrafted 4-liter biturbo V8, 577 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque, a 48-volt hybrid system backing it up. 0 to 60 comes in a little over 4 seconds flat in something shaped exactly like a filing cabinet. Price climbs to somewhere between $195,000 and $255,000, depending on how carried away you get in the configurator. And people get very carried away in the configurator. You get the aggressive Panamericana grille up front, the flared fenders, red brake calipers glowing through the wheels like jewelry. It sounds like something is genuinely wrong with it at idle, in the best possible way. But here's the part that actually stings if you think about it for more than 5 seconds. You just paid an extra $60,000, maybe $80,000 over level 1, and off-road, it isn't even better than the car underneath it. The suspension's a little less forgiving over rough terrain, not more. That extra money buys you noise and presence, not capability. Level 3, 18 inches of nonsense. The G63 4x4 squared. This is where Mercedes stops being subtle about any of it. Same 577 horsepower V8 as level 2, except now it's sitting on portal axles, riding almost 18 inches off the ground. 18 inches. That's taller than most SUVs' entire wheel well, taller than some kitchen counters, and it makes the regular G63 look like it's crouching next to it. Before Mercedes even sold one, prototypes were driven 300 times up and down a brutal off-road course in Austria, just to prove the portal axles wouldn't shake themselves apart. New, it starts around $250,000. Used, some sell for $400,000 or more because Mercedes only builds roughly 300 of them a year for the entire US market, and demand never stops outrunning supply. People wait on lists for this. Mercedes has called this one the last of its kind, the final send-off for the gas-powered Extreme G-Class before everything goes electric. Hold on to that phrase. It matters later. Level 4, the 900 horsepower refrigerator. And now Brabus enters the story, and Brabus does not understand the concept of that's probably enough. They take the G63, bore the engine out from 4 liters to 4.5, drop in their own turbochargers, forge their own pistons, rework the crankshaft, and out the other end comes 900 horsepower, 922 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Top speed electronically capped at 149 miles an hour in a vehicle shaped structurally like a refrigerator with a hood ornament. It should not be able to move that fast. It moves that fast anyway. Only 30 of these were ever built worldwide. Starting price, roughly $660,000. And there's an older version of this exact car worth knowing about. Just 25 of those exist, built a few years earlier, and they're reselling right now for over $1.3 million used, more than double what they cost brand new. At this level, people have stopped buying G-Wagons entirely. They're buying appreciating assets that happen to come with cup holders and a 9-speed transmission attached. Level 5, less power, more money. And this is where the whole thing stops making sense in a completely different direction. The G63 6x6, 6 wheels, 3 axles. Portal axles front and rear riding even higher than level 3. Mercedes only built this between 2013 and 2015. A little over 100 units total, assembled by hand in Austria, and then killed it on purpose, at the exact peak of demand, specifically to keep it rare forever. In some countries, you legally needed a commercial driver's license just to take it on public roads. People were still ordering them when Mercedes just stopped taking orders. Here's where the pattern flips entirely. It's less powerful than level 4. 540 horsepower, not 900. Slower in a straight line, heavier, objectively the weaker performer of the two. But because there's only about 100 left on the entire planet, they still trade hands today for $500,000 to $780,000. Less power, more money. Level 5 is the first real proof that this ladder was never actually about horsepower at all. Level 6, slower, rarer, pricier. Brabus looked at that 6-wheel body sitting there and said, fine, we'll put the horsepower back ourselves. The XLP 900 6x6 Super Black. Same 900 horsepower as level 4, same engine internals even, but now it's hauling around 3 axles instead of 2, stretching past 20 feet long and weighing well over 4 tons. So it's slower in a straight line, 5.2 seconds to 62, not 3.7, with a top speed limited to 130. All that extra weight on the third axle has to go somewhere, and it goes straight into the acceleration numbers, and it costs more anyway, somewhere between $1.2 and $1.5 million. Slower than level 4, more expensive than level 4. That's the trade by this point on the ladder. Less speed, more scarcity, and apparently that's worth an extra $500,000 to somebody out there, and there are apparently enough of those somebodies to keep Brabus building them. Level 7, where horsepower stops mattering. And up here, horsepower stops being part of the conversation entirely. The Mercedes Maybach G650 Landaulet, only 99 ever built, a 621 horsepower V12 tucked under the hood with a foldback convertible roof built exclusively for the rear passengers because apparently the driver doesn't deserve fresh air on this one. It's the kind of car built for someone being driven, not someone driving. Cristiano Ronaldo just commissioned a 1 of 20 open-top G63, custom built in his own club's colors for over $1.3 million. There's a stretched armored version out there right now, extended almost 20 inches longer than a normal G-Wagon, certified against rifle fire, listed above $1.26 million, built for people who seriously need it to stop a bullet and still look like a status symbol while doing it. And sitting at the very top, a Brabus 6x6 built with none of the restraint of anything below it, priced at nearly $1.5 million. None of these, not one single one of them, is the fastest G-Wagon you can buy. That title still belongs to level 4, sitting in a garage somewhere at $660,000. The reveal. So think back to where this actually started. Level 1, $153,900, already more than most people's entire house down payment. Level 7, nearly 10 times that number, for a car that in some cases is objectively slower than level 4, sitting at a fraction of the price. That is not an accident. And if you're being honest with yourself, it was never really about the car underneath any of these levels. Every single step up this ladder, you'd assume you're paying for more speed, more power, more raw capability, because that's how it works everywhere else. A faster car costs more. A stronger engine costs more. That's the rule, right up until it isn't. And somewhere around level 5, that stopped being true. By level 7, it wasn't true at all. You are not buying a faster box at the top of this list. You are buying the version of the box that fewer people on Earth are allowed to have, which it turns out was the entire point from level 1 onward. You just couldn't see it yet because the badge on the hood never changes no matter which level you're standing on. So which level are you actually parking in your driveway tonight? Be honest with yourself, drop it below.